what is the project about? You said a little bit that is a center of archaearchy here in New Zealand. We will tell more about that.
Yeah, so this project, it comes, or the motivation, the first movement of this project came from the really recognizing that there is a gap between the training spaces or transformational spaces where archaearchy happens and everyday life. There is nothing that contains archaearchy in the everyday life, or that makes archaearchy possible together. So we meet in those labs, we meet in those ETBs and gremlin work and rage clubs, and then everyone goes to their homes and live alone. And this doesn't make any sense in archaearchy, living alone. Also, all families, all parents are living alone with the children there, and they are not, you know, we have this nuclear family, including myself. So in this, I was looking outside one day and really realizing it is like I am lying. I'm doing all this, you know, all these trainings, and I'm so committed to create next culture, and I am living in this nuclear family style. So it did not make any sense to me. And in that moment, this first seed came about something else is possible. Let's do that. Let's do the something else part, even though we don't know how would it look like. And to come into a space where everyday life can also become the initiation of cultivating archaearchy. Everyday life, and every second of you have the choice to collaborate, to hide. You have the choice to be in relationship or to be right. And living in this rapid learning environment will make things just so much real. Then in between, you know, like keeping this modern culture way of life.
And I would add to that it's already happening for me in these 4 or 5 days here in the tree field, that I'm aware I'm making choices between participating or not participating, bringing myself in, not bringing myself in, or separating. That yeah, and my usual survival strategies. This is what I'm doing. It's just intensifying. It's intensifying already. And these days that I've been here, I'm getting a taste of what Ontree will be like. And it's also bringing up a lot of fear. And what Anna said about and how it had been, I had got to a place where I felt there's something else than there's the labs and the ETBs and there's all this training, and yet in between, here I am in my home, in a kind of nuclear family situation too. So it's like I started to feel uncomfortable, even though it's comfortable. It was like my usual motivation for my job and for my home, my usual passion for it, was falling away.
And what was the feeling when you say uncomfortable?
I think it was a mixture. What was the feeling? The feeling was certainly fear, wanting to hold on to it, and sadness, because it had become a bit of a prison, and somewhere somewhere a joy or a anticipation or somewhere, I call it relief actually, like a sigh out that something else could happen here.
Yes. Yes, I really get that as the transformation from the ETBs and the labs has been working on me and in our relationship, our beautiful house and gardens started to seem like a very comfortable prison. And as my box is expanding, it's like my home needs to expand as well. And also I have this wish that the abundance that I experience in my own life, I have a wish for that for many people to experience, you know, the abundance of life and the fruits of the transformation that is coming because of our involvement with PM. So to move out of the nuclear family situation is like, this space. So sitting at home in the beautiful little corner, it's like, but I want something more expansive.
And cutting the ordinary way of living of modern culture that makes no space for archetypal dimensions, because already this way of living is so singular, is so individualistic, is so limited. Then how really in my life, how can I create a space that becomes archetypal? And so I'm very much also committed to this exploration, and I am glad because it's really, like, for me in my experience, is taking the machete out of your tool belt and making the path through the jungle. We have no idea how it looks like on the other side. We have no idea if we come to the other side, and we are, we have we have our machetes ready to open the path in the jungle and see how is it.
Yeah, the uncertainty is so scary.
We are terrified.
I am terrified.
We are terrified.
Yeah, we are terrified. The uncertainty is so scary of being in this place where my usual identities are falling away, and I'm really feeling, well, who am I without that and without that? What am I without that and without that? And maybe, I don't know the other, but for me, I needed to do it this way. I needed to not have my home, not have my job. I needed to really let go of those things and put myself in a place where I know nothing.
What I'm hearing is that this part of the pain of nuclear family and ordinary way of living, it's one of the fuel of movement, and the idea of living of property and owning land and having a fancy around the land, and then starting to go away from the circle living of small villages from 100 to 200 people living together to the owning the land and the starting to build the nuclear families way of living was one of the ways that patriarchy started to hold the roots.
Yeah.
So moving out of it is like pulling the roots out of patriarchy and creating something else that is going through the jungle, that is not certain or like a right way to do it or something. It's this terrifying fear of not knowing what is the next step and where the project is right now, and what is the next uncertain step you are moving on as this project is growing.
Yeah, this project is brewing since a while already, and it did have like a long time of simmering. And now it is enough it is enough willingness and enough pain in us, enough necessity to make the next step happen. And also enough necessity from others. So it's not just about us. We have defined that there are 3 phases in this project, and the next step that we are concentrating have 3 points, say. Yeah, and one is to write down the codex of what is this about, to really verbalize, to like from all the possibilities there are out there, right? Mm-hmm. To bring the ones and make it really clear on paper, and write the codex with an entrance and an exit door, and what is this about, this project of the Ontree Center. The other part is to make visible to others what is this project about, because we cannot do this alone. This is a collaboration project. We're doing this together with people that are moving into the projects, with people that are supporting the projects, with space holders that are far away, with space holders that are on site, and so to make it visible, for example, with this conversation that we have with you, because this has been brewing more in the kitchen, and now it's time to take it out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
And the third part is to find the core group that is committed to implement this first phase. And of course, finding the land and all of this, but for us, it's more this will be a side effect of having the group. When the group is there and is committed to something, and and enough necessity is transported to echo, then the land will appear.
Yes.
Then it is an automatic response of echo is to it's for us to access possibilities that echo is presenting. Yeah, so in this are the next very specific steps right now.
So it's writing the context, what is it about, and gathering the team, and what is the second one?
And make it visible.
And making it more visible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is already these 3 steps have so many challenges, because how to make this visible without the campaign and marketing culture, right? So this is a huge liquid stage for all of us already. Like writing the codex, we were writing the codex yesterday, and we were all of the 3 so liquid about it, like how to put in words what really is the experience. And it is very clear that it's a space of relating and cultivating aki-aki. So how to do this with children, with older people, with people they have these projects, and people that have that project. And so this is for me. So I wouldn't say it is about creating family, which it is also part of the codex. It is no reference point for that, because it hasn't been built. So I don't know any place in this world that has implemented aki-aki in a living, not in a bridge house situation, but in a living situation, for that cultivating, like there is a bigger radius of purpose of living together.
So what is the purpose of that space that has been cultivating and more in the kitchen, and now it's starting to grow more into something that will be planted, like that is in becoming process?
Meeting with this purpose about living aki-aki, and we gather and okay, how does it go? And not for 2 weeks, or 4 days, or 2 weeks, or 3 months, but for a longer, like really cultivating something long term, cultivating aki-aki. How does it go? This is what interests us. This is where I was looking for to find out.
in the process of as I s- of living together, there's all the things that would happen in a lab but as well is the having to find a new way of ownership of money, of accommodation, of how to be childcare, of family,
Everything.
of everything. How do you place value? It's like, yeah, everything is, so it's like a big experiment.
How is the center then, like how is possible that a soil can contain many different projects at the same time? They are diverse, yeah, because in this center it can happen that people are finding out what this one of the part of the codex is about. You are living here doing what you want. This is part of the codex, is really committing to do what you want. So which is very different what you want, what I want, what Patricia wants, and Renee, and how to make this happen. How to make this happen, that we live together with a main purpose, a main soil, and diverse projects. And I have been thinking, or this is being like brewing in me, about villaging. Yeah, villaging together. I have no specific distinction right now about villaging and the center, so it might be the same. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. The thing is that community, co-living, family, all of this has so many connotations from modern culture that it is something that it needs to be, or for me, it's like it requires certain neutrality first to be discovered.
Yeah, everyone tries to says, oh, so you mean a village? You mean a community?
Yeah,
it's a bit odd.
We don't know yet.
Yeah, for a thing that doesn't exist, there is no names also.
Yeah,
so it's about creating new words for it also. It might be because like we name it what it's here.
What is familiar, and this is not familiar.
And even though that we are terrified, we are really terrified about this, all this shift that are happening and all this energy that is moving, we are okay to not know the answer to your question.
Yeah. We have made the bold move of selling our property and like saying, yes, we are ready. We don't exactly know what for, but we are ready. So this is like, yes, we're going forward even though we don't know.
So you are in the face of the pioneers, and it just it's coming the pictures of a movie, a documentary I watched that is called Biosphere. Have you ever watched that documentary?
No.
Yeah.
I highly recommend. It's like it's all these liquid states you are sharing about, and they are creating a how can I say the name? Pilot project
Yes.
of how it would be when Earth is not sustainable anymore, when the biosphere is not serving the basic needs of human beings, such as oxygen. And in this documentary, they show how the first thing of that gathered a team that are able to be 1 year or 2 years, I think.
I can't remember.
It was like it was a long term, like 1 year or 2 years together inside of a closed biosphere to test out how it would be. And the first thing was the yes. It was like it was the yes of 8-10 people that said yes. I will be close there. I will let go my job, my family, everything. I will just dress a red how can I say, macacão, a red thing. And these will be my clothes, and I will be there inside of this closed container, not knowing if we work, if we will have oxygen, or if the food will grow in this biosphere they created. And there's all these mistakes and failures, like what not working and what the things is working. the part of relating that started to get cooked inside of the thing, and the flame is the yes. And so what I'm hearing is that right now one of the three places where you are is of building the team, and is finding that yes, and your yes was such huge that you sell the property, that you that had a perfect life, in the sense of what it's shown.
Others,
That, like, if a person outside is like, you have a beautiful garden, a beautiful house, and you sell it, like,
in your age,
And your
we'd
age.
made it.
yeah,
We'd got there.
and your age
my
doesn't
age,
make any sense to
Now
sell
you
the house.
you
need your
get your
security.
mobile home and you can travel around, but you have your home and all of that. You leave your money to your children.
The man who used to live where we used to live across the road from us, he had a home, perfect too, and he lived there for 40 years, and then his wife died. Now he lives there on his own. He's a very lonely man, but he has everything, like all his security. But what does it do for him? In the patriarchal world, it does nothing.
What I appreciate is that it's about unfolding the diverse facets of life, about how does relate with different ages, and with food, with money, with relationship, like couple relationship, and also friend relationship. What the hell is the difference? And raising a child, and growing up, like what does it make a teenager be an adult, for example? This is one of the questions I'm carrying. Or like all the facets of life, researching in experiential reality by living. And what turns me on it is when I'm meeting new cultures, is like, oh, this is the way you do it here. So this is the way you do it. Like in Bali, they celebrate birthday from 6 to 6 months. This is their birthday, and they do until their marriage, and then after their marriage, they in their culture they are fully incarnated. So the meaning of birthday is that they get more and more close and incarnated, and this happens from 6 to 6 months. And then when you're married, it's because you're ready to life, and you're supposed to doesn't make sense to have birthday anymore for that. And this such a thing that is it's like, okay, birthday, and the culture where I was born, that I assume also for you, is like, okay, the date I was born is my birthday, and I do forever until I die.
And in some cultures, their birthday is the year before. They are not one in their first year, like Korea. They become more, how it works, they're already a year older than we would be in our culture.
And in Tibet, everyone celebrates their birthday on the same day, on the first day of the new year.
See, it's so diverse. And then when I get to know that there's all these possibilities, it's like, okay, how it goes in the way that feels me, like that I feel turned on for it, and I think this activates this power of creation that has the potential inside of all of us, and this is what turned me on in that project. That possibility of because I've been doing that online mainly, and traveling to visit the people, like I'm here now with you, as like, okay, but my fear is how it is when it's not online, when it's not like, okay, calls, and I call that person when I need a listening space, but it's missing something for me, and the part that is missing is this inland place that yesterday I just said, okay, Maria, I want to walk with you. Let's have a walk. This is so I love it, that and go to, like, I want to do a play fight, and then I thought, okay, I'll do here my home, because here is where it's my home now.
Yeah.
And then I said, no, come to the tree field. That is might more people join.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful that it was an intergenerational play fight with
cool.
children, teenagers, adults, all together.
Damn, I missed
Because
that.
people started,
I want to do that.
You were not there.
No, I wasn't there.
Yeah, and the people get together.
Yeah.
In that place because what is happening in that camp? What is happening in that camp?
Yeah.
And it was any, I don't know, flyer that I put outside and it's like, okay, this is happening.
Yeah, which is more or less what are you describing is the center, because this is what I mean with the place, right? There's a soil there, and then one person will come and do something. What you want to do, you will offer this to the space, and then people will accept the offer or not, and also this thing about how do we really support each other and give each other's wings to have those projects done, right? To really do what we want to do. And so we are very, very excited about this question. What is that what you want to do? And what are the resources you bring with you? And also for ourselves. So we have been percolating the converse of your questions also with ourselves. Yeah, what is that? And this might change also. What about that you thought one thing is yours and then it changes and it's another thing and then it's another thing and then your archetypal lineage is exposed so many different colors that they were not really imaginable at the first time with the head. But the experience make it possible.
Yes.
By living, by going into the experiential part of that and like riding the wave of evolution rather than to plan things. And combining, also planning things, but not just, also let this in everyday life percolate and show in the soil what comes up from this seed.
Especially in that rapid learning environment where, like, when we live together on our own, we give each other feedback, but when we're in the center, which when we're with this group of people, we're always in the center. The land is a sort of manifestation of that, but we get the feedback from everybody. So there's just this. The growth is so rapid. It is very exciting to think what is going to come of that growth when you get feedback from so many people, and you're open to it. Such a place of growth. I feel.
So the center is already happening.
Yes, the
It's
center.
not something like it's already happening.
Yes.
As I could experience yesterday here.
Yes, yes, and like you see it in the labs and on the ETBs, but also when we get together for celebrations or perhaps when someone dies or there's a reason to get together, or a birthday, or you have this. You can feel the center. Like people will say, "Oh, this is a good feeling." Like last night in the New Year celebration, you can feel the connections between people who are all connected to the earth and to growth and transformation and their bright principles. And I wanted to ask you a question. When you were in the meeting, there was something that really touched you. Do you remember what that was in the meeting about this the other day?
It was so from the present that I would not be able to repeat.
Yes.
It was something about the vision. There was a process I did about speaking from the everything in the woman's lab. That was speaking for 30 minutes without stopping, and 3 women being nothing. And just making subtle questions to pull more and more. And since I did that process, the part of dream and vision of what is possible came alive in me. Of looking at what is now and seeing the potential in that. So, for example, about culture, how culture can go, like what is the culture that my heart unfold in each interaction, not as something that I create in the future, but in the now, in the question I do, or in the presence, or the way I bring myself forward in each moment. And what I get touched in the meeting was to see that happening and experience that happening. And I shared that I felt sadness. I feel sadness because sometimes I get questioning that what I see possible. And I feel touched when I visit. I'm traveling and I visit projects happening in reality. Something that direction.
When you see that creation in people, when you see something being created rather than that powerlessness and hopelessness.
Because we already were told a lot that this, I was already told a lot, this is a useless dream. And this is what, because one of my favorite documentaries, Biosphere, because they heard a lot from all people around, this is a mere dream. Why you are dreaming too big? Like, this is impossible. This is impossible to happen. And I think in modern culture, we're really hammered with that part in us that is this everything, that have the vision and the seed that takes the action to do it. And it's from the dream that the thing is manifested. And this it's buried, it's hammered that no, this is not possible.
Many people have said to me that it's not possible. And many people have also retreated their support because we are doing things differently than they would do. And it is totally part of the journey. Yeah. And we will find it out, we will find it out. I mean, I hope it is another end than the end of the Biosphere documentary.
Quite spoiler, but
yeah. and I watched the documentary, so I know. But whatever it is the learning way, the learning spiral we are going through.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, we will find out what is on the other side, and I think this other side is maybe also never really happening, right? Because Aki it will be such a complex way of discovery with all this, the points that Patricia was mentioning, like that we don't know, like the ownership question. Yeah, we don't know how to go into a culture-to-culture conversation so that we found a way to purchase the land, and this land is not in ownership, but it's also not bound to a trust, or is not bound to any kind of business. So we don't know. And there's also a liquid state in many layers about, we give up our money to something that it will not make profit. It will not make, it's not a money-making machine. And the same thing with any, with the ownership, the money topic, the attachments to houses, the attachment to certain constellation or comforts. There is so many structure there that we don't know, they are not in place. And how to organize ourselves around very basic things.
Yeah, and there's something when you were saying before, and when you said now you touched on the power of creation. It's almost like it's the power, we don't know, but it's the power of creation. Even though we don't know, and what is created, maybe it works. It'll work somehow.
But what a great experiment.
But yeah, there's something I when you said it's so hammered out us. It's been so hammered out of me. So that's kind of the something that I'm that is propelling me forward with this, because there is a power of creation. I'm not sure, I don't really know what it is or how it goes, but I know that it's in me somewhere, and I really want to discover, to find some of this.
And you put your hand in your heart.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like, it's somewhere here. Yeah. Somewhere down here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have a real that it is, when you talk about young people, because yes, it is so hammered out of us. I have a real
what is that?
Anger. It's like, it should not be like this.
How should it be instead? Yeah, how?
They should know what they something about their gifts, who they are, who cares whether they succeed or they fail, but they encouraged to give it a go. I'm sad that young people are so squashed.
Yeah.
When they're just rising to to who they can be. How should it be? I'm not sure yet.
You did it for 20 seconds.
How long?
20 seconds, right now.
Okay, I did it for 20 seconds. Yeah? Okay.
I really appreciate this this example you have together also here, because it does show me what evolution, doesn't distinguish between age and gender and rich or poor or whatever, right? So that you as an older person are willing to take the doorways that Gabriela is offering you as a young person, and go for it and feel whatever you are feeling as what are we looking for? Exactly that.
Yeah.
A real example.
Yeah.
And you did a real example of the not knowing and going anywhere.
Yeah.
By the way. Just to name it. Just know I'm cutting the gist of my communication.
Yeah, it's a good one to cut.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
Uh-huh.
So it was percolating in me now, this thing about because I was speaking of the soil, and it came to me that what happens if we create with each other these environments when expansion and growth and evolution and transformation can happen, that it is nothing else to do rather than just create the environment for this to happen, and then the archetypal lineages, the bright principles will take their course. And this is so beautiful to see that it is possible, even though 20 seconds, and this is where we start, right?
Yeah.
And I'm totally keen to start with that. Yeah, if this is where we are, well, let's keep going. To 21 seconds.
Yeah.
And this is already happening, like when we are together, all around us, all the time, and the center will this energy will be condensed, and it'll really magnify and multiply when we are in the center.
I'm so grateful that people wants to, tomorrow we have a viewing, and there are people that are not directly involved with the project, and they want to be part of the viewing, just to support it, to make it happen, to bring the energy and the abundance into, and their possibilities to this. And I just met a man who said, I want to make it happen. I'm with you tomorrow. I was well, thank you. It is so amazing. Yeah. I'm so glad about it.
I have more two territories that is about the another two phases. I know it's not where you are, but it's where somehow where you're going or the direction. And another piece is for who is watching. What are the ways I could support or participate? And I want to go first with the first topic, that is, what is where you're looking for? Phase 2 and phase 3, that is not where you are, but is possibilities or potential that you have the intention to explore in the future.
Yeah, phase 1 is all this brewing and preparation phase. Yeah, and all of this, finding the core team, building, clarifying the codex, like really preparing to make it happen. And mostly is finding the core team, one of the main steps in this. And we don't have.
Wait, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
What does it make the main team? Like,
the core team that is gonna go there and live.
Yeah,
together.
but what is the prerequisites, or I don't know, what is the what is that one person to join to be part of the core team? Yeah, so we were working on that yesterday and implementing this clarity, which is already like very big. One thing that is very clear to us is this project is based on radical responsibility, which means that there are prerequisites of having attended ETBs and ongoing labs and gremlin transformation and rich work, that this radical responsible context is powered by possibility management. So this is so clear to us, and there is no intention of mix any context. And there are also other parts that we are exploring. For example, the question about gremlin. You see, if you are in an ongoing gremlin transformation, what are the points of no tolerance to certain gremlin foods? There is a zero tolerance for certain gremlin foods, and we are clarifying which are those foods. And also this commitment to find out what you want and really do what you want, and don't get lost in what you should be doing. It's also a great possibility here, and to go into a radical and intense transitioning from modern culture to archaearchy, to find your vocation and to really implement your vocation. So, and this is also a prerequisite, is that if you are joining this center, it's not about you working at the supermarket to make money, to pay some kind of fee. So this will not work long term. It will maybe work as a transitioning time, but it's not that. What is it about? So if you want to join, this is if potentially you would like to join, you make a formal request, and this formal request goes into the core group. For who initially? For one of you? The core group is Tristan, Patricia, Renee, Rita. Jacopo had his conversaview yesterday, and he was, we welcomed him formally, and me. This is the group right now, and we have another conversaview today in the afternoon, and 2 other conversaviews on the pipeline, and we will also conversaview each other. Yeah. We just came to the idea yesterday. There are many things also about the resources, or what for resources are you bringing? So what are you that Ontree Center will say, yes, Gabriela, come in. Yeah. What are the resources in any ways that you are bringing
that you are offering. So there are a few components. I cannot say this now by memory, all of them, but this is what comes to me right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to have a very clear procedure of entering, and also a very clear procedure of exiting.
Yeah, and this is in
This
the
is
process
okay.
of creation the codex.
Yeah.
But it's clear, this is the requisites and this is the procedure now to do it.
Yeah.
It's clear.
And if I can add a little to that, the number of people will depend on the land that we find, I would think.
Well, I see this a little bit different. I will see the land will
Yeah,
arrive
right.
for the number of people
Yeah,
that the team has.
Otherwise, create a sense of scarcity of like there's a time to apply or something like that. It's like I don't know.
And
it will
this
be
is-
ongoing.
And this is the other way around,
Yeah.
right? So the team,
First.
because this core team doesn't mean that we are the team. This is the core team. So how much expansion, it's like an iceberg, right? So right now the core team is what you can see. But what the real team is, we don't know, because this is a matter of years.
Mm-hmm.
So we might, for this core team, for this team, it is a bigger piece of land.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's something also of the Gameworld theory that I really appreciate, that the way that a person can become part of a team is that it's like this, when you, in the organism biology, when there's some element and it's not invading, but it's like getting closer slowly, and it's not just a conversation, but it's the process of being that started to become part of the organism.
Yes.
And not like I don't know, a registration form or just a conversation that makes that happen. It's the process of becoming.
Yeah.
It's not one thing.
Because evolution never stops.
Mhm.
So it is impossible. Where we were speaking yesterday about this expression about becoming a fully initiated adult. Like, how can this be possible to become fully initiated if evolution never stops? Like, the word fully is already so a trap. It's a mental concept, because in the moment, this is how the learning spiral works, right? After you have arrived, 20 seconds of applause, and the next thing will come, and you will have a new opportunity to learn and get initiated about something you did not know you could take a higher level of responsibility about. I was so glad yesterday in the Conversa views, because we had this thing about, normally in modern culture, preparing for an interview means to create a facade that will convince you I am the perfect person for you, for your business, for your school, whatever, right? And in the Conversa view was exactly the opposite. It was about who are you and what are the fears, that you feel about shifting into this Ontree center, into Aki. And it brought so much intimacy between Jacopo, who was having the Conversa view, and us, because all of this radical honest conversation could happen, and we all could feel together, and we could, oh my God, I'm feeling this too. I have also this fear I did not know about. So, and I'm so glad about this level of relating already from the beginning.
I want to move on to the question that I did about the phase, the vision. The phase 2 and the phase 3.
And phase 2 is the phase that begins when we move together and implement what we have been preparing, and also improvise what cannot be prepared. So this is when it takes place physically, and we also go into a period of relating that it takes a while to find new systems, to find the words that we don't have right now, to
grow food,
to make the basics.
It's like planting a garden.
Make the basics clear, and also to find what do you want. what is the next step for you to do, and to create the environment, so the real environment. And phase 3 is the phase that the Ontree Center will move towards the world, and so offering people to come and live here, which actually you can do this anyway, just we will not have the infrastructure until then. So if you want to live here, maybe it will take, a tent life, living in a tent or something like that. But create also infrastructure for people to come, and through the research having some kind of clarity for people to come, live, and then take the seeds and take the ideas or the possibilities or the imprints or whatever we find, and go out and do whatever they want to do with that. Maybe implement this in other spaces. What will be one of my main, wishes is that these soils can be everywhere in the world.
And part of the phase 3 is to have what we have called a heart house. So a house that we can easily be communal in, and we'll have some space for guests, short term, medium term, maybe long term, and different, and also if there is enough room on the land to have a venue.
You are again saying if we have enough room.
When? So okay, I have to shift it around. So a venue for events and trainings on the property as well. Yeah.
And I have a piece to add to that about the guest, that I propose to not have guests.
Yes. What would you propose?
I would propose to be collaborators or
Collaborators.
whatever the thing is, because it was an experience of Bridge House, but what I discovered, I see Bridge House as a small laboratory to co-living, and in that experience it was that when there is the guest, there is the part of who is taken care of, and when it's about radical responsibility, it's about how the person that comes to that space that it's been created bring him herself with what she or he want to create. My proposal is collaborators, that it's not implicit, that will be someone hosting.
Yeah, thank you for that. Because a guest implies a host, and the host owns the place, and the guest comes and stays and visits and then goes again. So thank you for that.
So it's
this will be a constant thing, like seeing the world through the old culture, and this is the magic of the feedback instantly. Yeah, I like that. You're creating a new reality every time this happens.
And it does not mean that phase 1, 2, 3 are linear phases that happens one after each other. So we see
they're all happening
like that.
It's a life organism. And the way of separating 1, 2, 3 is more to help to communicate to the mind what is happening
and to others,
and to focus. And also to focus the attention on the thing that is now the most necessary.
For whom is having some kind of fire to that project? What is the levels or the possibilities that you have clear until now about how whoever has a yes for this to exist in the world, to support or to collaborate with where you are now, and with that small next steps that is to happen?
Well, there are many possibilities for you to collaborate. Collaboration can be that you are interested to join this project. This could be your possibility of collaboration. There is a financial possibility of collaboration. There is also a possibility of collaborating with implementing things or making things possible. For example, there is a person who is interested to finance a tiny home for someone, and he can buy the tiny home, and the person who and it can be paid in installments. Yeah, it can be that you want to have a Gameworld consulting with us. It can happen that you have possibilities we have not seen before and you communicate this with us. It can happen that you are offering your labor when we are building something and you want to come here to build with us or to prepare something in the infrastructure. So there are many possibilities that I cannot even now count.
Yeah, or it can be that you have a bunch of money not knowing what to do.
Yeah, if you have a lot of money, you don't know what to do.
It's break out.
Like this will be the place to fertilize the soil, to make also, the use of the money resources.
Yes, and the money could be given or loaned to us.
Yeah, we don't want to be connected with any bank mortgage, so this is not happening. And we have already also a fire of money resources that can grow definitely. So we have gone to a certain level already. So we have in the pipeline are around $800,000 available.
Yes.
Is there something else you feel the fire to bring, or that is alive for you?
I have a lot of joy that you have joined us in this nucleus, and I just feel the exponential growth from having you here and having the others at the meeting the other day. I have a lot of joy about that. Thank you.
Yeah, from creating spaces to talk about, you start to find the words and to unfold the facets, and this is missing, or this can be, or the question. So I feel glad that you are having now more conversations, like in the conversation mode, that more things comes up, because the culture or the way can go emerges from the now, from the interaction. And so I'm glad that this is moving from out the kitchen.
Yeah.
Because then more inputs can come.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're a real to me you're Gabriella. You're a great example of how you put yourself right in. With, from the meeting the other day to offering to help us make ourselves more visible. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Your presence has brought a lot of wind in this project already, in your questioning and also feeling your heart and your tears has moved a lot of clarity for us, and I'm very grateful.
Yeah,
you have done it. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you. And I feel complete for that now.
Yeah.
For now. Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.